and welcome to another episode of FooBar. In today's episode, we are going to talk about AWS certifications. If you want to know more about serverless, cloud computing, or software engineer practices in general, subscribe to my channel in the red button below. I post 1, 2, or how many videos in this coronavirus crisis a week. I try my best to keep you entertained. So let's go to it. So as I said, this is a video about AWS certifications, but this is the first episode on an ongoing series. This series, I don't know how long it will be. It all depends on so many things, but I asked you last week in my community poll what kind of content you would like to see, and this was one of the most voted: content on certification, on getting certified with me. So currently I'm working on my AWS certifications and I want to bring you with me. That's why I don't know how long this series will be, because there is 12 AWS certifications. I'm not saying I'm going to take them all, but there are quite many. So what are AWS certifications, you might be wondering? AWS certifications are a way to prove your knowledge in some level of AWS. So there is 12. There is 2 categories of certifications, like the specialty certifications and then the ones that go like in a kind of level. We have 6 specialty certifications that are machine learning, big data, databases, networking, security, and Alexa. And then we have 6 certifications that are building on top of each other. First one is the foundational level with the cloud practitioner. Then we have in the associate level the software architect, the operations, something like that, system operations. I'm not reading, so I'm trying to remember. And then we have the developer associate. And in the last level, the professional level, that is super hardcore, we have the software architect and the DevOps professional. So this was built up on a pyramid. So how these certifications work: each of the certifications cover a different breadth and depth on the AWS platform. For example, the specialty certifications are very deep in one particular specialty, so you might not need to know anything of other things in the AWS platform. For example, in machine learning, you will go into the machine learning specialty and you need to know that very, very well. And maybe you don't need to know about VPCs or things like that. In the kind of pyramidal one, you will go and learn more in depth the more you go up. So the cloud foundational one is like, I don't know, maybe 20% of the service, or just basically knowing the title, what it does, and some small things. And then when you go to the associate, you need to know 50% of the service. And when you go to the professional one, you need to know 100% of the service, know every fucking detail. Sorry for my French. And then you have these kind of categories in these pyramid ones that are more in depth in something in particular. So in general, the software architect is very in depth and very wide. So you need to know everything. And then developer and DevOps are more focusing on particular things, but they're all hard. So that's kind of a summary on what AWS certifications are. I will not go into a lot of details because there is plenty of material on certifications and things like that. I want to talk more about my experience and why I'm doing this. Maybe other people feel the same than me and feel a little bit like, okay, I understand this. Feel like in the same lines than me and want to get started doing their certifications. So currently, I have 0 certifications, 0, a little ball, not even the cloud practitioner one. And they recommend that you can take the cloud practitioner with 6 months of AWS experience. I have been working in AWS. I have been working in the AWS platform for around 7 years. I will not say the most broadest knowledge. I have very good knowledge on a set of services. Others are a very big mystery for me. So I want to start learning and doing some certifications. I want to start with the cloud practitioner one, that is the easiest, so I can beat a little bit my imposter syndrome that tells me that I cannot do any certifications. And why I'm doing this now, like 7 years in a row? Because I never need to do a certification before. In my previous jobs, nobody cared if I have the certification or not, and that's very common in Finland where I used to work. Like, I know that they know that I can do stuff because I go to the job interviews or because I deliver stuff in the projects, and that's what people care, and they never ask me if I have the certifications. Maybe if I had the certifications, people will feel more confident with me, but also having this YouTube channel with over 200 videos talking about AWS kind of makes me an expert. I don't know if it's an expert award or something. A hero I used to be, well, whatever, that gives me some professional recognition, let's say it like that. So I never need it. But now I work at AWS as a developer advocate. I focus most of my talks and my whatever I do on serverless, but I'm not a specialist developer advocate. I should be talking about everything. And in order to be able to communicate with you better and to be able to talk about everything, I need to learn everything. And I thought, like, well, the certification sounds like a great way of having structured learning. Because if I go around and try to learn something without having a project or without having a reason to, then it's very hard. But well, in the certification you have, okay, I need to learn this, and well, maybe we can do some projects and have some ideas and get some organized things that I need to learn, and I can structure it. So I will start with the cloud practitioner, and from there move up. I want to move to the associate level and maybe take some specialty. I don't know, let's think about that. But for now, it will be the software, the cloud practitioner, and maybe the software architect. I think associate, that's a great one to start. It's very broad and it has a lot of things. And the developer associate, I think I also have a lot of knowledge from those two. So I will be tackling those 3 certifications now. So this video is a really good timing. I was not planning for this to happen, but yesterday, today is Tuesday when I'm recording this, it's going to go out on Thursday. Yesterday, Monday night, I was looking at the page to register for my first certification, and it was like failing all the time. I was like, what is going on? And I was like, whatever. And then I got the news that they were updating the system, so now we can take all certifications online, all. Before it was only the cloud practitioner that you could take at home, but now you can do them all. So this is super good time to start learning for your certification, and I'm very excited because I was like, okay, learning for the cloud practitioner will take me like a week, and then I will start learning from the others, but I will never be able to kind of get certified unless this coronavirus thing gets better and the testing centers open. But now that this is possible, we can do it from home, and I'm so excited. I'm super motivated about this. So how these series are going to go. This is the introduction video, it's me rambling, and then I want to talk a little bit about my process of studying for this certification, because this is a kind of easy certification for somebody that has been working with AWS for 7 years. So I should go and take it. That will be like the bravest thing to do, but I'm not brave. I have a huge imposter syndrome, so I need to prepare really well. I will try to be brief in the amount of preparation and not waste a lot of time on preparing for a simple certification, but I will prepare for a week or so. So I started like Thursday last week, and the first thing I did was to take an assessment exam. I went to one of these pages that provide a training. I registered to 2 WizLabs and a Cloud Guru, and there I took an assessment exam in WizLabs, and I passed it, obviously, with like 80%. And I was like, okay, without studying, without knowing anything, I passed it, and I was like, okay. There they show you more or less the type of questions, and they have the categories that they are going to assess you and a little bit of everything. And there are some topics I was just totally like, I didn't know anything. So my second step is to do exams. I will not go through a course and listen to it because I don't know, because I don't know. But I'm not. I'm going to do practice exams and learn from there, learn from the questions. And every time I find a question I'm not sure, even if I answer correctly, I will mark it as a review in my exam tool that they allow you to do that. So then when I'm reviewing the exam, I can study that particular topic that I was with questions and I was confused during the exam. And that's what I did on Friday. I did one practice exam and I went through the questions and I found many I didn't have a clue. I was just rolling a dice and getting an answer. But I passed all the practice exams. I did also on Monday the same. I've been passing those practice exams. So I learn, do the practice exam, then learn from that, and then I take the practice exam again and I try to pass it with a higher grade based on my learnings. And that's my study methods. So the first exams I'm doing are the ones from Wiz Labs. They are the same exams. There is 3 practice exams for this particular certification. So I'm taking those. I will be taking now another one, and then I learn from it. I do it again. And then when I feel confident, I will move to the practice exams from A Cloud Guru, where I will be doing the same. But the thing with the Cloud Guru is that they don't have an exam. They have a pool of questions and they generate the exam kind of in the moment for you. So you cannot repeat the same exam. I don't know, I have not tried yet again. So I will leave that for the end because I think it's more realistic to a real exam that you always get something different. So that's my way of studying for this particular certification. For the next one, we will find a new ways because the Software Architect Associate is different. It has more depth in some topics that I have no clue. So I will need to really study on that. But that's for later. So let's go to my computer and see what are the requirements for the Cloud Practitioner and what we need to study in order to pass this certification. So let's go to the AWS certification page. You can find it in this URL, aws.amazon.com/certification. And here we can schedule an exam and prepare for an exam. So I want to show you how to prepare for an exam. So here you can find all the information about the certifications. So it's good, but let's go up and prepare for an exam. So here you have all the categories: the foundational, associate, professional, and specialty. And if we go inside foundational, you can see the Cloud Practitioner and you can find all the information you need. So if you click here, you can download the exam guide and sample questions. You can find the different courses that they are available for you. You can read the white papers. They recommend you to read them all. I won't, but you can, and you should if you are going to do this. And then you can take an practice exam, and I think this one they will charge you, and also you can schedule an exam. But for now, let's go and download the exam guide. I open it here, and this is super important. This is something you need to read for all the certifications that you are going to take. Here they will tell you a little bit about the examination and what they are going to validate. So the Cloud Practitioner is intended for individuals who have the knowledge, skills, and ability for demonstrating basic knowledge of the AWS platform. So basic knowledge of the AWS platform, available service, common use cases, cloud architectural principles in the conceptual level, account security, and compliance. And here is the it validates an examinee ability to explain the value of cloud, understand and explain the AWS shared responsibility model, understand AWS security best practices, understand AWS cost, economics, and billing practices, describe and position the core AWS services, including compute, network, database, and storage, and identify AWS services for common use cases. So for me, these things, I know them.
well. Some of the things I know less, for example, the costs, economics, and billing prices. I paid for my AWS bill, but serverless is so small the amount of money that they charge me that I never really care much. Security, I know quite well the security part on the serverless services, but when it comes to VPCs and these type of things, I know very little. So I know those are my biggest gaps, and then some of the AWS services I have never heard of. I try to know them all, but they're hard. If you want to know all the list of AWS services that they are going to test, in the white papers there is one that lists them all. I think it's if you go to the white papers, the overview of AWS, there you will see all the services and you can see a headlight of what they do. And if you go to pricing, you will learn about pricing. Also, I don't know much about the support plans, and they ask that a lot. So there is many things that I'm not very familiar, but they are not really hard topics. They say that you need to have 6 months of experience working with AWS in any role. So it's for not technical persons as well. And they explain the type of questions, and then they're going to tell you about the exam domain. And here is the 4 domains that they are going to test: the cloud concepts, define AWS and its value proposition. I think I know that very well. I know quite some of cloud economics, not that much in the AWS details, but I know quite much on general. List the different cloud architectures and design patterns. I'm quite familiar with that. Then we will go to security and compliance, where we are going to talk about the AWS shared responsibility model. I'm quite familiar with that as well. Define AWS security and compliance concepts. I'm not that familiar with the compliance and with the security that is outside the serverless and managed services. So that's something that is always tricky for me. Define AWS access managed capabilities. That's something you need to know when you're working with IAM and things like that. And identify resources for security support. I don't know much about support. Then in the technology category, they will ask you to define methods of deploying and operating in the AWS cloud. I'm familiar with that. Talk about the AWS global infrastructure. I know that very well. Identify the AWS services. I know most of them. Some of them not that much, but I've learned by practicing. Identify resources for technology support. Again, support. And finally, we have billing and pricing. Compare and contrast the various pricing models for AWS. I know some, but I'm not very familiar with that. Recognize the various account structures in relation to AWS billing and pricing. And identify resources available for billing support. Yes. So that's what they're going to evaluate me. And as you realize, I know some things very well. I know very little of others, but I think the things that I don't know are not that big, and I can get them through practicing with the exams, because I have been working with most of the core and foundational services in one way or another in the past, but I have done it, and then with the serverless, I have done quite a lot of things. So
one thing I was thinking for the next video that maybe you're interested, and I think it will be super fun, is to have a Q&A, like live video, where I will put in survey or something where you can all answer live the questions that were the hardest for me in this practice exam. Coming from me, from a super serverless backend mentality, that's kind of my strength. That's what I know the best. And then I was collecting all these questions, and I'm still collecting all these questions from the practice exams, from topics that I have never heard before. And I want to put those in a questionnaire for you guys, so we can answer them live, and we can see if you are more educated than me in AWS, that I'm pretty sure you are. But that's for the next video. I will leave in here, you can see, and also in the description box, the date that this will be happening. I imagine it will happen in 2 weeks. Yeah, because this is going to start getting a little bit not real time. anymore, and we will make that happen maybe in 2 weeks or next week. Let's see. I will put it in the screen when I find the date. In the moment I'm editing, I will do that. But it's something that occurs to me, and I think now that we are all at home with this crisis, it's nice to have different activities to do and to have some fun together and try to solve these questions. And if you solve them, that's great. If you don't, maybe you learn something with me, and it's a great way to practice for your exams as well. So that was the video for today. I hope you like it, and if you like this type of formats where I will be certifying myself with you, I think it can be fun, and let's see how it goes. I really don't know how this series is going to move forward. If I stay at home for the next 6 months, we will have plenty of these videos. But yeah, let's see how it goes, and if you like it, just leave me a thumbs up, comments, thoughts on how I can make this series more entertaining for you. And I see you next week with more videos on FooBar, because I'm trying to post at least twice a week now that I'm at home all day. I need to do something, if not I will get crazy. So stay safe, wash your hands, and take care. See you next week with another episode of FooBar. Ciao, ciao!